The purpose of this presentation is to really give a bit of an account to every stakeholder, every team member who's been involved in the program as to what has been done over the last 2 years. Frequently I get these questions from people, including my own organization. Well, I mean, you've been at it for 2, 3, sometimes some people say 5 years. We started in 2008 when the idea just emerged. What have you accomplished? Where did all this money went to? Jeff and Seko, and sounds like a trivial task. You come up with a product and you go and sell it. Simple. So how hard could it be? You know, we get an earthquake insurance, and here you go, it sells in 3 markets, and we take flood insurance, and even easier. So, and the purpose of this presentation is really to kind of give you a flavor of what's involved in delivering a Swiss quality product. I say Swiss quality meaning product that will pay claims in 99.9% of instances of disasters. What does it take to deliver products of that quality, of standard quality, to 3 markets where market infrastructure either doesn't exist or very weak? And here you go. So we'll start with a brief vision, then I will outline the road traveled, briefly describe the accomplishments, which is sort of an account of what we've done over the last few years, and then also talk a little bit about challenges and new opportunities, and give due to people who have been involved from day one. A bit of an overview. From the very beginning, we were very ambitious. We set ambitious tasks to Europa team, to Europa board, to ourselves, because the task we outlined, the foundation that on which house had to be built, had to be a solid one from the beginning. And indeed, these tasks were of tall order. They were provide access to reliable Swiss quality catastrophe insurance products for homeowners, SME and farmers, which would cover quake, flood, and multiple climatic hazards in markets where these products either don't exist or exist in their infancy. And even when they exist, often they simply cannot pay claims when disasters come. So we asked to create a pool of dedicated reinsurance capacity for the catastrophe risk written under the SECI program, meaning we wanted to have a reinsurance entity of first quality established in Switzerland, where it will be tightly regulated and subject to the world-class risk-based supervision rules, so that we can sleep well at night, knowing that the entity is well looked after by the Swiss regulator. We wanted to reduce transaction costs for insurers in underwriting catastrophe insurance risk, essentially eliminating the fixed costs involved, enormous fixed costs involved in developing catastrophe line of business. We wanted also to educate the public and raise public awareness about disaster risk and catastrophe insurance through first-hand experience with catastrophe risk, which will be given to them in a very easy-to-access way on a website. And finally, we wanted to assist insurance regulators with the development of risk-based insurance supervision for catastrophe risk, without which insurance for these lines of business is doomed to failure from the beginning. So as you can see, we wanted really a lot. We set very challenging tasks to the team and to the board. And that's how it went. While the very concept of Europa we started talking about it in 2008 at the conference in Switzerland. So it's been almost 4 years since that day when we finally got the funding from donors and the World Bank, and the World Bank the World Bank to begin the technical work in earnest. So the funding from Jeff and Seko were made available to the program only in March 2012. That's when we were able to really start doing something about the project. So in 1 month, so the board of Europa managed to retain a team in 1 month, which is a record, which turned out to be a very capable team that carried this program throughout 2.5 years without a glitch. So then technical work commenced in May 2012, only 1 month of the team contracts were signed. And after that, I can assure you that everyone worked 24/7 on that team to bring the results that were described today, and you will see more of it later on in a session that I chair. Shareholder capital from countries was disbursed to Europa only in October 2012, While again, the World Bank financed the loans to countries, but for different reasons, there were delays with disbursement of this money to Europa Re, which prevented the company from applying for a license. You cannot apply for a license when you don't have money in your account. And that capital was available only in October 2012. So once the money was available and once the work has begun, there were several directions in which the project charted its course. On the technical side, the work proceeded on product development, risk-based supervision, IT development, claims development, and public education through CAT monitor development at the same time. As you can appreciate, this is a workload for a blue chip company with thousands of people working, but the team had only 16 consultants in it. So at the same time, the company had applied for a license, which by itself was a huge task in the project. I can assure you that, as was mentioned earlier, obtaining a Swiss reinsurance license is a task of tall order. So for a company who had no operating history, no staff, no offices, and the filing and no risk models at that time, which were delayed. So the filing process took us record 8 months, and in the end, the book of documents produced was close to 1,000 pages. And they were all technical documents, including risk models, actuarial calculations, tariff calculations, risk management guidelines, etc. So at the same time, company managed to establish 3 resident offices in 3 countries, register them in representative offices in Serbia, Macedonia, and Albania, which had to be accredited by governments, staffed properly, with all the labor rules complied at the same time. So FINMA license was received in a record 8 to 10 months in December 2014. First earthquake policy in the end was issued in March 2014, only 1.5 years later after the money was disbursed. It was issued through a fully functioning IT infrastructure developed under the program from scratch. So RBS regulations were prepared and regulators were introduced into the essence of these regulations already in May 2014. Some countries like Albania already managed to put some clauses of risk-based supervision in their national law. Others like Macedonia are on the way. And recently we had another explosion of new developments. In September, as was mentioned, the first area yield insurance policy was issued. Again, in September, we managed to get the first flood and quake policy issued in Serbia. CAT monitor was launched in Macedonia and is about to be launched in Albania and Serbia. The only reason it's not launched is because it's still under government review. Technically, it can be launched any day. And PR campaigns began in October 2014. That is today. Today is the date of PR campaign beginning. So that gives you some flavor of what's been accomplished, but let me give you a little bit more and talk about what does it take to bring a product to a market. So that when you don't just write about the product, talk about the product, but you go from A to Z, from the concept of the product to delivery of that product in a market where you sell it through a local company to a concrete homeowner. And that's how it goes. I identified about 10 stages of insurance product development. There might be more, so the team members of Europa Re might correct me. Please do. But you start with a simple task of identifying a local licensed insurance partner who is willing to sell your product. That by itself is not an easy task because companies have different priorities, different marketing strategies, and often have to be seriously convinced to become part of the program. I hope this conference would actually help getting us more partners because seeing is believing. Once you found a local partner, you have to enter into agreement, train the sales force, and the management and underwriters about the product, about how it works, about the IT infrastructure so that they're capable to sell. But before you sell, you have to develop a product, and that's where the technical issues come up. First, you have to collect claims data or develop a risk model that generates loss events which approximate claims. So as you know, for catastrophe risk, there are no claims. This is very long-term return period events. Penetration for catastrophe risk in most markets, on all these markets, is next to 0. There are no claims. You have to approximate them by coming up with very sophisticated modeling techniques that will generate you proxies of claims. And for that, we had to retain a world-renowned company called AAR, which worked on these models for 2 years, so with the help of Europa Re. We then had to develop terms and conditions of coverage compliant with local legislations and regulatory requirements. And that by itself is a huge legal and technical task. So not only these terms and conditions have to be compliant, but they also have to be market friendly, and they have to work so that consumers can receive quick claim settlement, good service, and result in a sellable product. Once you have the model data, you have to go and spend months and months doing actuarial processing of this work, of this data, to incorporate this model data in the actuarial formulas that result in technical premium and account for loadings and also account for socioeconomic considerations like cross subsidies from one type of risk groups to others. You have to take out the pricing peaks because otherwise product becomes unsellable for certain groups. And you also have to, in that calculations, account for regulatory requirements when it comes to product rates. So finally, once you have the product which is priced and developed with terms and conditions, with insurance partners that are ready to sell it, you have to somehow sell this product and support this product through a universal, commonly functioning, shared by all insurance company IT platform that provides immediate issuance of these policies in a way that doesn't take too much effort, require too much effort from agents, because otherwise nobody will sell the product. So the platform has to be very agent-friendly, and agents have to like working with it. Otherwise, you cannot sell much. So that took quite a while, and there were considerable challenges involved in developing IT platform, as you can imagine. And in the end, the team prevailed. So today, as you will see in the next session, so the web-based IT platform provided by Europa Re to its insurance partners provides seamless, very quick, easy to use, intuitive web portal that can be filled within 20 seconds. So on average, it takes 20 seconds for an agent to issue a policy once he's trained for a day. So then you train the sales force and insurance agents, which has been done. Insurance trainings have taken place in all 3 markets. I believe over 300 agents were trained in 3 markets to sell these products. IT integrations with local insurance partners has taken place because insurance companies have to learn how to use IT and take use of the data that's produced by every sale and incorporate this data into their own systems. And then, of course, you have to support the IT systems. Not only you have to have an IT system, but you have to have reliable IT support and system maintenance 24/7 to ensure that the product information, the sales data is stored safely and the system is foolproof and has enough redundancies to withstand breakdowns and shocks. And finally, then you have to come up with a claims management system, because once you sold the product, you have a liability, and then you have to be able to service these claims on time to ensure adequate service experience, product experience for consumers. So claim management systems themselves, and you'll have a presentation on this, so have been a major investment on the part of the product, and by now Europa Re has one. So, and of course, reinsurance support to ensure that the products sold have Swiss quality. One has to have adequate reinsurance capacity behind these products, which has been secured by Europa Re through a very secure, world-class quality reinsurance program, mainly supported by our big ally, Swiss Re. And finally, the last stage involved PR campaign and marketing, which has been in the making for the last 3 months, and today is the first day of official launch of this PR campaign. So this gives you a flavor of what it takes to bring a product to market, and I'm sure I missed quite a few of them, but that just gives you the gist. So where the money of the donors went to over the last 2 years. So today, of course, we're all very proud to repeat what the management and the board of Europa Re already said, that the project and the company has succeeded in delivering, in making very complex and at the same time user-friendly catastrophe insurance products available in all 3 markets, It offers earthquake residential, earthquake commercial, and flood policies, flood and earthquake policies in all 3 countries. So in Serbia, the earthquake residential, earthquake commercial standalone will be available in a few weeks. So, and it already started selling area yield insurance product for agriculture in Macedonia. So we hope to see similar product available in Serbia sometime soon as well. So besides products, there was some byproduct. The main products, the delivery of insurance products to the markets, there was some important buy-side products delivered by the program, which I'm also eager to share with you. First of all, I think the project, the SIGIC project, managed to redesign major insurance business processes by making them more efficient in pricing, underwriting, sales, and claims management. So I believe that companies that become partners of Europa Re will benefit from this new angle of how insurance business, how technology can be used, modern technology can be used in modernizing and making insurance processes more efficient. So the program trained hundreds of insurance agents and over 30 loss surveyors and claims analysts in all 3 markets. It created an interactive platform for consumer education on catastrophe risk, the first of a kind not only in the region but in the world. It created a dedicated pool of reinsurance capacity for catastrophe risk written in Southeast Europe through Europa Re. And it developed a regulatory framework for risk-based supervision that Klima Popovsky referred to, which is very much akin to Solvency II, based on Solvency II principles, and we hope it will be introduced at least in 2 markets, Albania and Macedonia, in the course of next year. So now briefly about challenges and frontiers of this program. Of course, we would like to see more insurance products, expand the sales of catastrophe insurance products. To accomplish this, we would like to see more insurance partners in this program, and I hope many of you will be convinced after seeing the technical presentation that it's worth your while. There are no fixed costs, there are only benefits. So the program is open to any insurance partner as long as it is willing to to participate in the mission of Europa Re, to increase penetration for catastrophe insurance products in its market. So we would like to launch an online sales portal in a few months to try a new approach to sales in these markets. It's not common, but perhaps we believe there is some promise in making the sale experience more user-friendly and less time-consuming for the users. We also would like to encourage Europa Re team to look into utilization of alternative distribution channels like banking industry and maybe mobile phone operators. So that's the next year of that we'll look into this. So of course, second part is to expand Europa Re country memberships through bringing new members on board, and I'm very pleased to have the representatives of BIH today, Bosnia and Herzegovina in the room. So we've been in discussions for a long time. And I hope finally we will come to terms and have the country join Europa Re as well in the next year. So the discussions are ongoing with Montenegro, so we hope to see Montenegro as a member as well, and maybe some other countries of the region in the near future. We would like to assist member countries with introduction of demand boosting measures, that is, organization of public education campaigns, introduction of national compulsory catastrophe insurance schemes. The one is being prepared in Albania, and we would like to look into the similar type of programs in Macedonia and maybe in Serbia. Designing smart insurance subsidies which can help selling insurance to the public or to farmers. Better targeting of post-disaster subsidies to the poor to leave more money on the table for important public infrastructure programs. And finally, the program has to focus and plans to focus on assisting regulators in member states with phasing in risk-based supervision for catastrophe risk, without which sales development of catastrophe insurance markets faces very steep challenges. So in conclusion, I would like to take this opportunity again to acknowledge enormous contribution and dedication of Europa Re board and of Europa Re project team that literally work 24/7 without any respite to make this program a success. Following in the steps of Europa Re board members, I would like also to thank our donors, SECO, Jeff, and UNSDR for making this program a success, and member countries for their support and contributions to the program. So thank you very much.